$74,000 a year, I'd be doing just great. I mean, honestly, I think any of us would be doing just great. Anybody. I wouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck. So I think the comment was out of line and it was disrespectful because, again, people can't relate to that because there's people right now that are losing their jobs or are underpaid, possibly get laid off. So to make that comment, I'm sorry, I just find it disrespectful. And like I said, I grew up in this district. I'm from this district. So why not? Who better to represent this district than someone who actually lives here, cares about the district?
Okay, Terry? Are you, how can, tell us more about your campaign right now as far as how can voters get a hold of you?
They can,
Do you have an office set up yet, or?
our office
Tell us more about the campaign.
Our office is not set up yet. We're gonna open up office in Whittier in the next, I would say, a couple months.
Okay.
Possibly sooner. The way they could reach out is they could visit our website at www.jorgeroblesforcongress.com.
Can you spell that?
www.jorge, Jorge, Robles, Robles,
Okay.
for Congress.com.
Number 4?
No, FOR.
Got it.
FOR. We do have a Facebook page. We do have a YouTube page.
Okay.
We do have Twitter.
Okay.
So they can visit our website. We have an email set up so they can correspond with us. They can talk to us. They can volunteer. We've received some volunteers through our website. We even have a campaign phone that they can call us. So.
What about, let's talk real quick about pension reform.
Mm-hmm.
And pension reform, especially on the federal level, and as a member of Congress, I mean, you'll have actual purview to be able to go ahead and help deal and regulate with the public pensions. Do you think that they're out of control? Do you think that what do you feel about this pension spiking that's been going on recently in regards to particular people in government, raising their salaries the last 2 or 3 years in office, in their, last 3 years and what they're doing, and then getting, these huge mega pensions for the rest of their lives? What do you think about that?
We definitely need to reform pensions. I'm a state employee, but I recognize that there's some state employees that receive a very generous pension. Now, I'm a peace officer. I serve my community. I'm not guaranteed to go home at night. I risk my life for a living, and I get hazard pay, and I get a nice pension. But there's individuals, and this is at the federal and also at the state, that receive pensions that are very, generous. And I believe if you interview and you talk to most rank and file members, they'll tell you that, hey, listen, we understand that pensions are a problem, but we also understand that, I believe government has grown too big. We're too big as a government. The federal government is huge. So we got to look at how we can start saving money by slashing and being more fruitful for what we got and be more useful with the dollars that we have. And
would you advocate any abolishment of any particular programs or departments or anything in regards to cutting back on federal government? Anything come to mind?
No, I think we just got to be more efficient with government. I believe government's so big and we waste so much money because we're so big. I mean, it's like we have an open checkbook and just spend, and it hurts the taxpayer. Like I said, we owe $15 trillion, and that debt is getting passed to our children, and it just keeps growing, and one day it's gonna bust. We can't keep printing money forever. We can't. Now, we are the currency, we are the dollar reserve, so we have the ability to print money. But all fiat money it's not backed by anything, and eventually it's gonna bust because our creditors aren't gonna keep lending us money. We got to be responsible with what we got.
So what do you think about Obamacare and Medicare and Social Security?
Well, Obamacare needs to be repealed. I believe, and it's not the government's business to tell us that or mandate us to buy insurance.
Well, do you think the entire bill should be repealed?
I think we need to look at it now. From what I understand, what I've read, that if you take one, basically the whole bill gets crumbled and it's not going to work. But that bill was poorly written, and it was passed quick. People didn't read what that bill had, and that's the problem. You know, you're making decisions last minute, and that doesn't work like that.
Do you take exception to Congresswoman Sanchez's position on the bill, or?
I believe she's wrong. She voting, and I mean Linda Sanchez. Let's understand something about Linda Sanchez right now. If we look at her voting record, it's always party lines. Now, that's not a leader. Now I can say here honestly and in good conscience that when we win, if there's a Democrat that has a great idea, I will support it. Why not? If it's going to help America, why not? We got to work together. See, that's what's the problem with Congress right now. They don't help each other. I'm a Republican, I can't talk to you, or I'm Democrat, I can't talk to you. Now we got to stop that. We got to unite as a country and work together. It's okay to have different beliefs, but why not support someone if they have a great idea? Why not? Why is that a bad thing?
Do you think compromise is a key to getting something done in Congress?
Swallowing your pride. Right?
Yeah.
If we can just say it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be real. We're dealing with a lot of egos in D.C. But look, at the end of the day, who's it hurting? It's hurting America. It's hurting this district right here. And what I bring to the table is, I'm gonna work with anybody who wants to get us back where we need to be, which is, hey, let's make some jobs, okay? Let's lower gas. Let's continue to protect education. Let's keep our communities safe. So, look, whatever issue comes before me, I'm gonna tackle it based on what the issue is. I don't care if it's a Democratic issue. It doesn't matter. If it's a good idea, I will support it, and I have no problem saying that.
Jerry, is there anything else?
The Republicans in the House approved a bill in one of their budgets, putting Medicare on vouchers and changing the whole concept. And they backed away from it because there wasn't support from the people, especially the seniors. How do you feel about Medicare? Do you think it needs to be changed, or leave it alone, or what?
There's a lot of issues that we have, and we start working on many issues, and Medicare is one of them. Now, it gets a little complicated now because of Obamacare, and the courts are gonna rule on that anytime soon now, so we don't know what the impact is gonna be.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, to answer a question like that is basically very simple. We gotta come to a table, we gotta put our egos to a side, and let's just start talking and what's gonna work. We gotta get input from the community as well. And we gotta talk to people.
When George Bush was president, he proposed to initiate some private accounts for Social Security, let the people put money into these accounts. And the Congress as a whole, I think, the majority, said no. Now, this has come up again. What, do you think it's a good idea, or?
Well, look, Social Security is a problem right now because what they're saying is that there's not gonna be money there at the end. So we definitely need to start looking into that and doing something about it. Now, we're talking about a major issue that's not gonna be solved overnight. What I say is, look, let's just start brainstorming, let's talk collectively, you know, Democrats and Republicans, because that's the only way the country will support it. If it's bipartisan, if we come together and say, hey, listen, this is not a Republican issue or a Democrat, this is what we've come together and say, look, this is the reform that we want. Because once you do that, then everyone will accept it and say, okay, it was a bipartisan decision, and that's the best that we can do, and people will believe that.
The one thing I haven't heard from either Republicans or Democrats on that subject is the money that the Social Security brings in, the federal government borrows from their reserve, in fact, all their reserve. So when the federal government is in trouble, there's no money in the reserve to do anything. Is that the major problem, you think? Or is that just one of the problems?
Let me tell you what the problem is, $15 trillion, that's the problem. And that's what happens because you start borrowing from I mean, the federal government actually borrowed from pensions from the federal employees.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they may actually take money from Social Security and just say, hey, look, we're gonna borrow this and pay it back. California does that. They actually say I mean, right now I believe they owe education about $10 billion. That's what they owe them.
But California cannot borrow or take money from the pensions.
Absolutely, they can't, but I'm saying they're borrowing from education, and they owe, and
I
when
know.
are they gonna ever pay back education?
Yeah.
They're not, and that's why it's hurting our education system. And see, I believe, look, what we have as a nation, what we have here at the local is we have a spending problem. That's the problem. We have a spending problem, and then yes, it's gonna hurt us later on down the line. So either we fix it now, or it's gonna bite us in the butt later on.
Okay.
And
Well, we appreciate your time, Dane. Is there any last words you want to go ahead and tell the voters?
vote for Jorge Robles for Congress. So that's
That's short and
it.
sweet to the point.
Short and sweet to the point.
Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate being
And we
here.
appreciate you coming in the rain. We had driving rain today.
Yeah, thank you. It was
You guys did a yeoman's job, and we certainly appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Did you hear that thunder and lightning before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys,